There are places that look completely ordinary during the day, but when night falls, they become gateways to things humans were never meant to encounter. This was an old house standing alone on the edge of town. No one knew when it was built. People only knew that anyone who entered it never came back the same. Some vanished without a trace. Some lost their sanity, and some were found as bodies that were no longer whole. That night, 10 strangers stepped into this place together. Each of them carried a secret, a fear, and none of them believed this would be the last night of their lives. What they didn't know was that something was already there in the darkness, watching every breath, waiting for every step. And when the door behind them slowly closed, the deadly game officially began. If you think you've heard every terrifying ghost story before, stay until the end, because this story doesn't just kill people, it spreads death in ways you would never expect. No one questioned the house at first. They were too busy, running from the storm. Rain fell like nails from the sky, hammering the forest road until Daniel slammed the brakes. "Road's gone," he said, staring ahead. Landslide. Trees leaned at unnatural angles. Mud swallowed half the path. That was when Walter spoke. "There's a place nearby." Ethan frowned. "A hotel." Walter shook his head. "An old house." They followed him off the road, through dripping branches, until the structure emerged from the fog. A wooden house, 2 floors, no lights, no fence, and yet intact. Ethan raised his camera instinctively. Claire grabbed his wrist. "Don't." "Why?" "I don't know. Just don't." Shadow stopped at the doorway. His paws refused to cross the threshold. The dog didn't bark, didn't whine. He growled. Low, deep, directed at nothing. "Shadow," Ethan whispered. "Come on." The dog's fur stood on end. His eyes locked on the empty corner of the living room. Lily laughed nervously. "Great. Haunted house already." Victor scoffed. "Dogs get scared easily." Shadow finally stepped inside. The door closed behind them. No one touched it. Something was wrong. The house smelled clean. Not dust. Not mold. Clean, like rain-soaked wood. "There are no mirrors," Lily said suddenly. Everyone looked around. She was right. Bedrooms, bathroom, hallway. Not a single mirror. "That's odd," Claire muttered. Margaret smiled thinly. "Old customs." Noah frowned. "Customs against what?" No answer. Night falls. They ate quietly. The storm held outside, sealing them in. At 12:47 a.m. the lights flickered. At 1:02 a.m. they heard footsteps in the hallway. Daniel stood. "I'll check." "I'll go with you," Victor said. Daniel shook his head. "It's fine." He grabbed a flashlight and disappeared down the hall. 5 minutes passed. 10. "Daniel," Ethan called. No reply. Shadow's ears flattened. Then came the sound. A dragging noise. Wet. Heavy. Victor cursed. "That's not funny." Ethan and Victor moved together. The flashlight beam shook as it landed on Daniel's body. His neck was twisted completely backward. His mouth was filled with mud, still dripping. Shadow howled, a sound so sharp it felt like glass breaking in Ethan's skull. "Panic!" Emily screamed. Lily dropped her phone. Victor backed away. "This is a prank. This has to be a prank." Walter whispered, "It has begun." Ethan turned. "Begun what?" Margaret sat down slowly, as if exhausted. "When there are 10, she said, staring at the floor, "it counts." Noah swallowed. "Counts who?" Margaret finally looked up. "Who belongs to the house?" The lights went out. Total darkness. Something brushed Ethan's leg. Shadow pressed against him, trembling. When the lights returned, Margaret was smiling, and Shadow's eyes, for just a second, glowed faint red. The first lie. No one slept after Daniel's death. They sat in the living room, backs against the walls, eyes fixed on one another as if the killer might blink first. Rain kept pounding the roof. The forest swallowed every sound beyond it. Victor broke the silence. "We leave at first light." Walter shook his head slowly. "The road won't be there." "We can walk," Victor snapped. Margaret laughed softly. "No one walks out," she said. Claire turned on her recorder. "You knew this would happen." Margaret's smile faded. "We hoped it wouldn't." "A theory for comfort." Noah cleared his throat. "There's something you should know." Everyone turned to him. "In old folklore," he said carefully, "some places don't kill people." Victor scoffed. "That's reassuring. They choose." Noah continued. "The deaths follow rules, patterns." Ethan felt Shadow press closer to his leg. "And the first deaths," Noah said, "are usually invitations." "Invitations to what?" Lily asked. "To stay." The second death. At 3:18 a.m. Emily asked to use the bathroom. "I'll go with her," Claire said. Emily shook her head. "I'm fine." She disappeared down the hall. 30 seconds later, a scream. They ran. The bathroom door was open. The window shattered outward. Cold air rushed in. Emily lay on the floor beneath the sink. Her head was twisted at an impossible angle. Water overflowed the tub, flooding the tiles. Victor collapsed beside her. "This isn't real," he whispered. "Emily, wake up." No wounds, no blood. Just a broken neck. Noah stared at the window. "She didn't fall." "Then what?" Ethan asked. Noah didn't answer. Shadow growled again. This time, at Victor. A human answer. By morning, fear needed a shape. Victor became that shape. "You were with Daniel last," Lily said. Victor stood slowly. "Are you accusing me?" Claire crossed her arms. "You disappeared twice last night." Victor laughed sharply. "So did half of us." Shadow barked. "Once." Victor flinched. "That dog doesn't like you," Victor said. "That dog doesn't like liars," Margaret replied. Victor turned to Walter. "You brought us here." Walter nodded. "Yes. So this is your fault." Walter did not argue, which made it worse. The fall. At 9:40 a.m., Victor decided to leave alone. He grabbed his jacket, flashlight, and knife. "No one's stopping me," he said. Ethan stepped forward. "Don't." Victor smiled. "Watch me." He opened the door. The forest was silent. Too silent. Victor stepped onto the porch. The wood creaked, then snapped. The porch collapsed. Victor fell. They ran outside. Victor lay beneath the broken beams. His chest crushed. Blood bubbled at his lips. "This is an accident," Lily whispered. Victor looked at Ethan and smiled, then died. Shadow whimpered. Noah shook his head slowly. "It wasn't the house," he said. "It let gravity do the work." Doubt. They buried Victor near the tree line. No prayers. No names. Just dirt. Claire pulled Ethan aside. "Something's wrong with Shadow." "I know. He watches us," she said. "Like he's waiting." Shadow sat nearby, staring at the house. Not afraid. Focused. Margaret watched them from the porch. "The house listens," she said. "To fear. To guilt." "What about the dog?" Ethan asked. Margaret hesitated. "Animals don't lie," she said. "That makes them useful." The night changes. That night, the house rearranged itself. The hallway felt longer. The doors didn't align. Lily screamed when she opened a bedroom door, and found herself staring into another bedroom, the same room, from the opposite side. "Noah," she cried. "The house is folding." Noah looked pale. "It's closing paths." "To what?" Claire asked. "To the end." Shadow walked the halls calmly. Too calmly. At 2:11 a.m. Walter disappeared. They found his hat by the stairs. Nothing else. Margaret did not cry. "He was chosen early," she said, "for guiding you here." Shadow sat beside her, quiet. The house remembers. By the third night, the house no longer felt empty. It felt aware. The walls creaked even when no one moved. Doors opened a few inches, then stopped, as if listening. Ethan sat on the floor with Shadow's head on his knee. The dog's breathing was steady. Too steady. "Shadow," Ethan whispered. "What do you see?" Shadow did not look at him. He was staring at the ceiling. A memory that shouldn't exist. Noah stood by the fireplace, flipping through his notebook. "I've seen this house before." Everyone froze. "That's impossible," Claire said. You said you'd never been here. I haven't, Noah replied. Not physically. He opened his notebook. Inside were drawings. The staircase, the hallway, the mirrorless bathroom, all drawn before the trip. I found these in my notes from last year, Noah said. I don't remember drawing them. Lily's voice shook. Then who did? Noah swallowed. Or when? Margaret watched him closely. The house remembers those who think about it, she said, and it calls them back. The watched room. They chose to stay together. The living room. No one would be alone. Lily set up her camera. If I die, she said, forcing a smile, at least it'll be content. No one laughed. At 11:33 p.m., the camera battery drained to zero. At 11:34 p.m. the fireplace lit itself. No flame, just light. Shadow stood. His tail wagged once. Ethan's stomach tightened. The death they all saw. Margaret stood near the staircase. I should go upstairs, she said softly. Walter's disappearance had hollowed her eyes. I want to see him. Ethan stepped forward. Don't. She smiled at him kindly. You're a good boy. Then she stepped onto the first stair. The wood did not creak. The second step, her foot sank in, not through, into it. Margaret screamed. The stair closed around her ankle like wet clay. They rushed forward, grabbing her arms. Pull, Claire shouted. They pulled. The stairs pulled back. Margaret's body bent. Her legs twisted the wrong way. Bones cracked. She screamed once more. Then the staircase went solid. Margaret was gone. No blood, no body, just a stain shaped like a hand. Silence swallowed the room. Shadow sat down. Calm. Denial. Lily vomited. Claire stared at the stairs. That wasn't real. Noah whispered. It chose her. For what? Ethan demanded. For remembering, Noah said. Shadow licked his paw. The dog chooses. Later that night, Shadow walked to the hallway and stopped in front of Claire. He stared at her. Low growl. Claire backed away. Ethan. It's okay, Ethan said, though his voice shook. Shadow turned, walked away. The growl stopped. Margaret's handprint on the floor faded, as if satisfied. Confession without context. In the early morning, Lily pulled Ethan aside. I lied, she whispered. About what? I didn't come here for content. She showed him her phone. A message dated 3 days before the trip. You will film what the house shows you. Sender, unknown. And if you didn't? Ethan asked. Lily's hands trembled. I think Victor tried to leave. Shadow sat behind her, watching. The house closes in. The forest outside was gone. Where trees should have been, there was fog. Endless. No depth. No sound. We're not in the mountains anymore, Claire said. We never were, Noah replied. Shadow walked to the front door, scratched once. The door opened. Only darkness beyond. Shadow looked back at Ethan, waiting. What the house asks for. The door stayed open for a long time. No wind came through it. No smell of forest. Just darkness, thick and unmoving. Ethan did not let Shadow step outside. He clipped the leash to the dog's collar with shaking hands. We stay together, he said. No one crosses that line. Shadow resisted, just slightly, enough to be felt. The rule emerges. Noah sat on the floor, surrounded by torn pages from his notebook. It's not random, he said. The deaths. Claire hugged her knees. Then explain it. Noah pointed to the staircase stain. Now almost gone. They're taken when they give something. Daniel went to check the noise, Claire said. Emily went alone. Victor chose to leave. Margaret chose to go upstairs. Lily swallowed. So what happens if we don't choose? The house answered. A door slammed upstairs. Once. Then again. Slow. Measured. Shadow growled toward the ceiling. The mirror room. They found it by accident. A door that hadn't been there before. At the end of the hallway. Inside was a small room. And in the center, a mirror. The only mirror in the house. Claire stepped back. You said there were none. Noah stared, pale. There shouldn't be. The mirror was old, darkened, tall enough to reflect a person fully. Ethan approached. His reflection lagged, not by much. A blink. But it was enough. Shadow barked violently. The mirror cracked. A thin fracture ran from top to bottom. From inside the mirror, something knocked back. Once. The choice. Lily's breathing grew fast. This is how it works, isn't it? Noah nodded. It offers a way to be seen, to be known. And then it takes what steps forward? Silence pressed in. Claire spoke quietly. We need to destroy it. Ethan looked at Shadow. The dog was staring at the mirror, tail low, ears forward, not afraid, listening. The wrong decision. Lily picked up a chair. I'm not waiting to be picked, she said. She swung. The chair hit the mirror. The glass did not shatter. It opened. Like water. Something reached out. Not fast. Patient. Hands. Too many fingers. They wrapped around Lily's arms. She screamed. Ethan grabbed her waist. They pulled. The mirror pulled back. Lily's face twisted in terror. Not pain. Recognition. I've seen this place before, she cried. I dreamed it. The mirror closed. Lily was gone. The mirror sealed. Perfect again. Shadow whimpered. Then sat. Aftermath. No one spoke for a long time. Then the mirror faded. The wall was bare. No cracks. No door. Just wood. As if it had never existed. Claire's voice broke. We did everything wrong. Noah shook his head slowly. No, we did exactly what it wanted. The dog's leash. That night, Ethan woke to the sound of dragging. He reached for Shadow. The leash was gone. The collar lay on the floor. Unbuckled. Footsteps moved down the hallway, four-legged, but not Shadow's. Ethan followed the sound. It led to the front door. Open again. Shadow sat just inside the threshold, looking outward. His reflection stood outside, not moving, not breathing, waiting. Shadow did not react. He walked forward. Ethan screamed his name. The dog stopped, turned, and looked at Ethan with eyes that were no longer fully his own. Then Shadow sat back down. The reflection vanished. The door closed. The leash slid back across the floor, clipped by itself. Count remains. Only 4 remained now. Ethan, Claire, Noah, Shadow. The house creaked softly, satisfied. Noah whispered, "It needs one more." Ethan held Shadow close. The dog's heartbeat was calm, too calm. The one who stays. The house grew quiet. Not the quiet of emptiness, but the quiet of waiting. Ethan had the sense of being watched from behind his own eyes. Claire sat near the wall, knees pulled to her chest. Noah paced, counting his steps without realizing it. Shadow lay between them. Still, a pattern completes. It won't take the dog, Claire said suddenly. Noah stopped. What? It hasn't. She continued. Shadow's always there, always close to the deaths, but untouched. Noah nodded slowly. Because he didn't come here. Ethan frowned. None of us did. Noah looked at him. You did. Silence fell. What are you talking about? Ethan asked. Noah took a breath. 3 years ago. Your missing persons case. Claire's head snapped up. Ethan. What? Ethan shook his head. That was a hiking accident. Noah pulled a page from his notebook. A photo. Ethan, younger, standing in front of the house. The same house. I found it in a police archive, Noah said. Unlabeled. Misfiled. Claire whispered, You never told me this. I don't remember it, Ethan said. That's the point. Noah replied. The offer. The fireplace lit again. Light without flame. The house spoke. Not in words. In pressure. In memory. Ethan's head throbbed. Images flashed. Running through the forest. Bleeding. Calling for help. A door opening. Warmth. Safety. Then nothing. You stayed, Noah said softly. The house didn't take you. It kept you. Claire's voice shook. Why him? Because, Noah answered. He came back. The last rule. The house wanted balance. It had taken 9. 1 remained owed. Claire stood. Then it takes me? No. Ethan said immediately. Shadow rose too. Claire smiled sadly. I don't belong to it. You do. She stepped toward the hallway. The floor did not move. The walls did not react. Nothing reached for her. The house was uninterested. Noah swallowed. It won't accept substitutes. Betrayal. Noah turned to Ethan. I'm sorry, he said. Before Ethan could react, Noah pushed him hard. Ethan stumbled toward the staircase. Shadow lunged. The stairs softened, opened. Hands formed beneath Ethan's feet. Claire screamed. Shadow slammed into Ethan's chest, knocking him backward. Ethan hit the floor. The staircase snapped shut. Noah stared in horror. I thought, he stammered. I thought it wanted you. The house groaned. Displease. Noah screamed as the floor beneath him gave way. Not fast. Not kind. Hands pulled him down. His screams echoed long after he vanished. After the count, the house exhaled. The walls straightened. The hallway shortened. The door appeared again. Solid. Real. Rain could be heard beyond it. Claire collapsed, sobbing. It's over, she whispered. Shadow whimpered softly. Ethan held the dog close. But Shadow did not cling back. He was listening. The leaving. Morning came. They stepped outside. The forest was real again. The road was there. Claire turned to the house. It was already rotting, collapsing, as if decades had passed overnight. They walked away. Shadow did not look back. The silence after. They did not speak as they walked. The forest felt ordinary again. Birds, wet soil, distant wind. Too ordinary. Claire kept glancing behind them, expecting the house to reappear. It didn't. By noon, they reached the road. A ranger truck found them hours later. Questions followed. Reports. Statements that made no sense when spoken aloud. 9 people missing. No bodies. No house. No explanation. What remained unsaid? Months passed. Claire published nothing. No article. No expose. Some stories refused to be documented. Ethan stopped taking photographs. Every time he lifted the camera, his hands shook. Shadow stayed close, always watching, always listening. Sometimes, when Ethan woke in the night, Shadow was already awake, staring at the wall. The memory returns. It came back slowly. Fragments. A younger Ethan, lost in the mountains, bleeding, exhausted. The storm. The house. He remembered opening the door. He remembered warmth. And a voice. Not spoken. Stay. He remembered agreeing, not out of fear, out of relief. The house did not trap him. It offered him something. Survival. In exchange, a future return. The final truth. Ethan stood in his apartment one night, realization settling like a weight in his chest. The house didn't want victims, he whispered. Claire looked up. Then what did it want? A carrier. Shadow lifted his head. Ethan swallowed. Can't leave where it exists, he continued. But it can attach to people, Claire asked. Ethan shook his head slowly. To those who never lie. Claire's face drained of color. Animals, she whispered. Shadow's tail thumped softly against the floor. Once. The choice that was never a choice. Claire moved out. She said it was for space. But they both knew. Shadow stayed with Ethan. Always. The dog never aged, never slowed. His eyes grew sharper, smarter, watching crowds the way the house once watched rooms. Ethan began to notice things. Accidents near them, people tripping, falling, crashing. Always after Shadow stared too long. Always after Shadow followed someone home. Epilogue. The next place. A quiet suburban neighborhood. Children riding bikes. Neighbors waving politely. Shadow walked calmly beside Ethan. A man jogged past. Shadow stopped, watched, growled softly. The man turned, confused, missed a step, hit the pavement, neck snapping at the wrong angle. Ethan froze. No one noticed Shadow. No one ever did. That night, Shadow sat at the edge of the yard, staring at houses, counting. Ethan understood now. The house had never been destroyed. It had learned to walk, and it had chosen well. Shadow's eyes glowed faintly red, just for a moment.
Subscribe and like for more haunting stories.